Good morning, everyone. A good Chodesh, and we are continuing here in the words of the Beis Halevi in his Maimah Bitachon. And we said yesterday that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his infinite wisdom and his omniscience, he makes no mistakes at all. And therefore, when a person is makabel, when they accept upon themselves that everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing for them is the Ratzon Hashem, it is His will, because He knows what is best. He knows what our neshamas need, what kind of tikkunim, what kind of corrections, and what kind of changes, and what kind of growth we need in this world. When a person gets to that place where they're so totally beiteach, they solely rely upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu and all of the decisions that He makes, this is the person then that is able to go through his life trusting and believing with tranquility and peacefulness in his heart. And the Beis Halevi says a magnificent pasuk, a verse today. U'kamaimer, like it says, HaKosav in the verse in Tehillim. This is Dovid HaMelech speaking. A man whose life was wrought with challenges. A man whose life was constantly within the realm of enemies chasing down after him, sickness and people that were trying to destroy him and his kingdom. He had children that were trying to kill him. He was running, always on the run, hiding in caves, hiding in forests. He had no respect. He had a different life of yisurim, of suffering and of difficulties. Dovid HaMelech was Dovid Melech Yisrael. He was the king of all of Klal Yisrael. You would expect, if you were catapulted to the status of monarch of the Jewish people, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of you. He's going to let your life run smoothly and peacefully. You'll have everything that you need at your disposal so that you can lead the country in the best way. But Dovid HaMelech had none of that. Dovid HaMelech was a man whose life was completely surrounded and enveloped in Yisurim, in suffering. Every one of his Tehillim, almost every single Tehillim that Dovid HaMelech writes about, is about the struggles and the hardships and the challenges and the tests that he had to go through, and the suffering and the sickness and the people that were trying to kill him and destroy him. There was not a moment of rest that Dovid had in his life. How does Dovid HaMelech react to that? You're king of the Klal Yisrael. You're the biggest Talmid Chacham of the generation. You're the greatest tzaddik of the generation. Hands down, there's no one that's going to argue with that. And yet HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps treating you like a person, Chalila, to say such things are the way that a person would treat a dog almost, with such suffering and such abuse, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse that Dovid HaMelech had to go through in his lifetime. Why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu do such a thing to him? If you're Dovid Melech Yisrael and you're the king of the Jewish people, and you need to run the country and you need to run the nation and you need to be Davik in the Rabbi Shalom to cling to Hashem, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give him a life of what was seemingly of misery? How does Dovid HaMelech react to that? He writes Sefer Tehillim, and one of the verses that he writes is Im lo shivisi v'daimamti nafshi. Says Dovid HaMelech, I swear that I silenced my nefesh, my soul, Kegamol ale imon, like a child who is suckling by his mother's side. says the Beis Halevi. The nefesh, when it says over here that David silenced his soul, it means beloshen apasuk hu ratzain. It means his nefesh, his desire. Dovid HaMelech says, I silenced my desires, my personal desires, what I want, how I think the world should be run, the brachas that I think should be coming to me, the easy life that I would like to have so that I could focus my energies more on guiding and leading the country and learning Torah. That's what I would like. But says David, I kept it quiet. I didn't listen to my own inner ritzainos, my own inner desires and whims and wills. Rather, v'omar, shehidmin v'ishti kol ritzainosov. He says, David HaMelech, he shut down. He silenced all of the desires that he had inside of him for a better life. Like this infant who is suckling on the breasts of his mother. He's completely dependent upon his mother, this child. V'derech hagamol be'eis higamlaim mishtei imai, and at the time that the infant is nursing from his mother, Ein loi rotzen gam lachil, he has no other desires in life, not even for one morsel of food. He is completely absorbed in the process of nursing from his mother. He's getting all the nutrients, he's getting all the vitamins, he's getting all the minerals. There's even antibiotics in that mother's milk. The child thinks of nothing else. He looks up with those baby eyes, those eyes of purity, and he looks into the eyes of his mother, who looks back down on that child with love, with so much love that the mother has for the child, and she's giving over everything she has, and that child at that moment wants nothing else in his life, just the beautiful warmth and the embrace and the giving ways and the compassionate ways of kindness of his mother. That's how the child lives, with no desires for anything. Because he has never been accustomed to anything else in his life, not an ounce or morsel of food. His mother is the one that is putting the food into his mouth. And therefore, just as a child who knows nothing else besides the compassion and the warmth and the love of his mother, who looks at him tenderly and endears him and will stroke that little baby hair, and she will kiss him on his kepi, and she will let him know how much she loves him. Says Dovid HaMelech, everything that a Kadosh Baruch Hu puts a person through in this world is the chesed from the Ribono Shel Olam. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's love. It's His care. It's His warmth. It's His compassion. It's the milk, the nourishing forces that He's giving over to a person in this world. You might not like what He's doing. It might be overwhelming sometimes. It's hard for a person to be able to handle sometimes the Gezeras HaMelech, the decrees that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes. But like a child looks to his mother for all of his sustenance, we look to our Father in heaven for all of our sustenance as well. And a Yid has to know, and they have to believe and be beiteach, believe shalom with a complete heart, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of all of our needs. And like that mother's milk that is filled with nutrients, it is filled with antibiotics, it has healing and growing powers. So to all of the Yisurim and all of the challenges and all the Nisyonos that HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts us through in life, it is filled with nourishment. It is filled with healing agents. It is filled with love and care and compassion and warmth. All from the Ribono Shel Olam, who looks so deeply into the neshamas of each and every one of us, and He takes care of us, and He designs our lives exactly the way that it is supposed to be. Have a wonderful Chodesh, and perhaps if we can get this message to resonate inside of ourselves, this will be the great Mishanichnas Adam Marbin B'Simcha. We will increase our joy when we will realize how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu truly loves each and every one of us. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Chodesh.